The purpose of this video is twofold. The first of which is to review setting up the basic file structure elements that we will use as standards in Excel. The second will be to build a simple and basic present value calculator using the formulas that are in Excel. So let's attack that second thing first by putting in what will be the basic parameters that we are going to use for present valuation. If you'd like, you're certainly welcome to follow along while I do this, or you can pause this video at any time, or wait, do it, try it, watch it again. So, as we discussed in class, there are always 5 variables that we deal with. The first of which are our cash flows, which would be present value, future value, if I could only type and or spell, payment, which would be then our 3 cash related variables. The last 2 then would be the time period, which represents the timeline that we would construct. And then the last one would be what we call rate, which represents the opportunity cost of capital, or again the idea that I don't have to make this investment, I can make an alternate one. Now along the way, I'm also going to teach you some Excel shortcut commands. So I'm holding down Control and Shift right now, and I'm hitting up arrow twice to select that entire series of values. Now what I'm going to do is hit Alt-H-O-I, and that will automatically increase the size of my column to the auto width of the longest. I'll go up here into cell B1, and I'll do the exact same thing, and that just allows me to do some basic resizing. The one that we're going to build together is going to be solving for present value. So I'm going to color that cell yellow by doing Alt-H-H and then highlighting my yellow color to indicate that that will be where the answer is. These first 3 variables of present value, future value, and payment are all cash. So I'm holding down Shift now, and I'm doing down arrow twice to select those. Then I can do Alt-H-A-N, Enter, and that will automatically format those with $signs. Time period is going to be Alt-H-K, which is just a basic 2-digit format. And then I'll do the same Alt-H-K for the rate. These are the innards, the contents. Before we get to finishing part 2, which was the basic present value calculator, and we'll finish that by doing formulas, what I'm going to go back to is do the file structure elements. So Alt-P-S-P allows me to go and set my headers and footers, where I will put in the center section file name and tab name. And then in the footer section is where I'll put my page number out of my number of pages. Now let me rename the file Alt-F-A, and I'm going to go ahead and store this in a file location that I can easily access later. And I'll give it our standard name of BSE 2310-Kamienski - let's call this PV sample. I'm going to rename my sheet Alt-O-H-R, and I will call this present value. To navigate to cell A1, I'm going to hold down Control and hit Home. Control plus S will save. Control plus P will allow me to do a print preview, and I can see right here I've got my file name, my tab name and my header, my page number, and my number of pages in the footer. So the question that we're going to answer will be something like this. If I wish to have $1,000 saved in an account, slow typing here, in 2 years' time, and I can invest and earn a 10% annual interest rate, how much money would I need to put away right now? This is what you would think of as being a basic present value question. Given the word problem, I can now make some assumptions. The assumption is, in the future, I'd like to have $1,000. Notice when I keyed that in, it automatically formatted it. As we'll discuss, there was no payment information per se, but that in 2 years, at a rate of 10% yearly, I have the opportunity to invest. So the question is, how much would I need to have right now? To do that, the navigation is Alt-MF. From there, you can look at the financial formulas and look up the present value, or PV formula. When you do that, you get this nice little dialog box that says point and click now. Where's your rate? My rate is sitting right here in B6. Tab, how many periods? B5. Payment, where's that? B4. What's the future value? I'd like to have 1,000, and we can ignore type, and it will tell you you would need to put away negative, meaning cash flow coming out of you, $826.45 in order to save $1,000 in 2 years at an interest rate of 10%.